But importantly, we're talking about this concept of toughness, and from my perspective, it was something that I don't think I always had, but it was something that we developed. So there are three key terminologies that I'd like you to have a little bit of a think about. One is called grit. You tell me if you've heard of these. Grit, resiliency, and toughness, mental toughness. Who's heard of them?
Yeah.
What have you heard of? Who's heard of grit? There's a book written about it, Angela Duckworth. Anyone know what grit is? How would you define it? Because I think all of these three things are a little bit different, and we sort of need them all. So what do you think? What's grit?
Fibre of your being.
What? Sorry?
The fibre of your being. Fibre of who you are.
And what does it look like? Because I'm interested in what people with the actual quality do, right? So if it's the fibre of your being, how would someone who has it, how would they behave on a daily basis?
They would do what other people wouldn't do on a daily basis.
Such as?
Such as work, do the training, do what's required. They would get up at 5 a.m. when no one else wants to get up at 5 a.m. because they have a bigger goal in mind.
And they would just keep persisting, right? Over the long term. And one of the quotes behind me here is related to that concept of consistency. It's doing those little things consistently well over a really long period of time. That's what grit is. It's actually defined as long-term perseverance. Okay, now grit is going to help you get to the Olympics, but it's not going to help you do well in the Olympic final. That's another quality again. So what do you think we mean by resiliency? And how is that different to grit? What's resiliency? One of the ladies this morning had the exact right definition, so the pressure's on. What is it? Huh?
Overcoming the hurdles.
Overcoming hurdles. Never giving up. Something else.
Bounce back.
Bounce back. So it's the ability to bounce back. One of the interesting things about resiliency is that when we look at really successful people, athletes, business people, and I'm not defining success as how much money you have or how many medals you have. It's your own definition as to how you measure yourself, which we'll chat a little bit about later. But the ability to recover. And often people who are really resilient, they don't bounce back in the same shape and form. We work with the Paralympic ski team from Australia, and one of the coaches was Michael Milton. Anyone familiar with Michael Milton?
Yeah.
What happened to him? He got cancer. He lost his leg.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Did he give up skiing?
No, he didn't.
And what, in fact, did he end up doing?
Going to the Paralympics.
And he, at one stage, was the world record holder for downhill. You actually go quicker on one ski, apparently. But the point is that that's an example of someone who finds a way, who comes back in another shape and form, and still manages to get the job done. That's a great example of resiliency, bouncing back. Not in the same way, but in a different shape and form, and still working it out. And then the final one is toughness, because resiliency is not going to win you the Olympic medal either. So what's toughness, and how is it different to those two other concepts? What do you think?
Mental.
What's that?
Mental.
Yeah, it is mental. I mean, they're all sort of mental, right? But what's the difference between toughness? Because at the Olympics, for example, it's no different to what we're doing here. Somebody says, hey, you've got to turn up at 6:10 p.m. and you've got to present to all these people, and you have to do a good job. You can't stand up there and stutter and stammer and forget what you're going to say. You've got to get on with it and get it done at this point in time. I can say, actually, you know what? I was feeling really good at 2 o'clock. Could we have done it then? So toughness is your ability to perform when? When you're asked to. If someone says, this is what I love about the Olympics, they set the schedule 2 to 3 years in advance, and they say on July the 23rd at 10:30 in the morning, you have to turn up and perform at your best, and there's a window of time for about 5.5 minutes for the duration of your race, or 6 minutes, or whatever it might be, and you have to organise yourself well enough and maintain your composure and everything else that's required to deliver your best performance in that moment. It's one of the reasons why, in the Summer Olympics anyway, it's very rare to see an Olympic gold medal, and what else at the same time? A world record. Very, very rare. Normally everyone underperforms. It's just that the person who wins the gold medal underperforms less. It's common to have people breaking world records a week out, a month out, 2 weeks later, because the Olympics is different. Okay? So those three if you like, definitions are really, really important for what we're chatting about today. It's the heart of everything.